Welcome back to another video on the channel. In this one I'm going to be previewing the four women's quarterfinals. I have done a video previewing and giving me predictions for the men's quarterfinals as well, so do check it out if you were interested in the men's draw. So we started this Grand Slam unfortunately without the two top seeds in the world, Ashley Barty and Simona Halep. We have just had news this morning as well. Ashley Barty is also skipping the French Open, so she will not get a chance to defend the title, which is a massive shame. But even despite the fact we haven't had those two players, we've still had a fantastic event. You know, the return to form of Victoria Azarenka and Naomi Osaka. We've got Serena Williams fighting very hard, winning a few three setters to chase that all-time Grand Slam title list. Jennifer Brady's come through. Elise Mertens playing fantastic tennis. The fantastic story of Peronkova, who hasn't played in 3 years, reaching the quarterfinal stages, which is quite incredible to have that long a break and produce the tennis that she has this week. So looking first off at the match between Jennifer Brady and Yulia Putintseva, and I did say after Lexington when Jennifer Brady won that event that she would be a massive danger in Cincinnati and in the US Open. You know, you could see in the hard court form she was producing very good tennis. Clearly very confident. She'd had a few fantastic top 10 wins at the start of the year. Came back from lockdown. Looked like she'd never been away. The ground strokes that she's playing this week have been fantastic, and just following on from Lexington. Really powerful from the back of the court, serving well, just blowing opponents away, but she's up against a very tough and experienced competitor today in Yulia Putintseva. We know Putintseva very quick around the court. She's got a great defence, fights very hard, a little bit like Simona Halep. Got lots of different varieties and change-ups, but I do think Jennifer Brady is just too strong. We've seen this week already that, you know, when she really finds a form, when she starts hitting the ground strokes from the back of the court into the corners, there's very few players in the world that I feel can mix it with Jennifer Brady at the moment. You know, I think you've got to be like someone like a Azarenka or Osaka or Mertens who can sort of fight fire with fire. Just take her on, get her on the run. I'm not sure Putintseva got the power to do that today. I think as soon as Jennifer Brady starts serving well and gets a short ball, reads the Putintseva serve and starts returning well, then I think the writing is going to be on the wall, and I expect Jennifer Brady to come through this one in straight sets and just out hit Putintseva from the back of the court. But Putintseva will fight very hard. He knows there's a huge match for her career, a chance to make the Grand Slam semi-final, and I'm sure she won't go down without a fight, but I just think the heavier ground strokes will come from the racket of Brady and see her through to her first US Open semi-final. Moving on to Naomi Osaka and Shelby Rogers, and everyone will probably know I'm a massive fan of Naomi Osaka's. In my preview I did speak about her chances. She reached the final of the Cincinnati Open before retiring from the final, gifting Azarenka the win due to a hamstring injury or a thigh injury. It was one of the two, and I did say before the US Open preview that the way she played last week, I would have made a favourite coming into this event had she not had that injury. Instead I went with Sophia Kenin, who got knocked out last night off a rampant Elise Mertens. But Osaka, I'm just so pleased to see her back. You know, she came through in 2018 to win that US Open, beating Serena Williams in that famous final before batting it up in Australia. And I've spoke many times on the channel that I think she's a player that sort of struggled to deal with being number one, being hyped up as the next superstar, being the face of women's tennis and all the money and the fame that comes with that. I think she struggled to deal with, and her tennis suffered, where she had a lot more going off court. And the focus sort of went away from the tennis. She started to beat herself up during matches and go through lulls and spells of just losing point after point and unforced error after unforced error. And I said before the US Open, I think this lockdown break is probably the best thing that could have ever happened to Naomi Osaka's career. A time to reflect, analyse what was going wrong, focus on her tennis, get in the practice court, get back to basics, and she's just produced some outstanding tennis this week so far. The fast hard court obviously suits her game, and the ground stroke that she's got just so powerful. Her forehand and backhand, a fantastic serve, and yeah, just an incredible player who I think is almost unstoppable when on the top of a game. I did say at the start of the week that I think there's only Simona Halep in the world that could probably have the defence to neutralise the power of Osaka. And Shelby Rogers, who came through an absolute thriller against Petra Kvitova. I do believe Kvitova had a few match points in that one, if I'm could be corrected. I did see the end of that match, but I've watched so much tennis I actually forgot how the match even went. But I do know Rogers won a deciding match tiebreak, and what a win for her, to come through a match against Kvitova. Kvitova, a former Grand Slam champion, had been playing awesome all week. A fantastic left-handed forehand in serve. Rogers just fights hard, she gets every ball back, she's got aggression of her own, she hits really clean. Positive ground strokes, many winners this week. In American, that'll be hoping to, reach the semi-finals and set up perhaps an All-American clash against Jennifer Brady. That would be fantastic to see. But as you can probably imagine, I can't look past Osaka. I've said before, just in this video, that she's a player that I think if she has a going day where she's serving well, she's returning well, and she keeps the rallies short, she attacks the short ball, gets the initiative in rallies, and I don't see anybody with defensive capabilities in this event capable of stopping Osaka. And I think she's a master of her own downfall. I think the match is almost on her record. If she turns up and plays to 90-100% of her ability and she's fully fit, then I think it's Osaka's match to take, and I expect it to come through. Maybe it's a tough match. I think Rogers could perhaps win a set and put pressure on Osaka at times, but I do expect Osaka's experience and quality to show in the end. And now I want to what is a quite incredible story, really. Svetlana Pironkova, who had a very good career and fell out of the sport 3 years ago due to injury and also having a baby, and has come back this week, and I think a lot of people just expected it to be a run out for Pironkova, the start of maybe a comeback, and she's just been incredible, beating Elise Cornet yesterday over the distance, beating Garbina Muguruza in straight sets earlier this tournament, and what an opportunity for her now up against Serena Williams. But Pironkova's played so well. A lot of people just focus on the story, the fact she's been off for 3 years, and keeps winning. But you have to look at the quality of her tennis, the way she fights, the ground strokes, the variations, the ability to slice and take the pace off the ball. Very good player, and she's a player that could certainly challenge for Grand Slams in the future if she does come back to the sport, full time now and competes next year in the full schedule. She's a player that will quickly climb the rankings and have a fantastic end to her career. Up against Serena Williams, who's chasing greatness, and you do start to wonder how many 3-set matches Serena Williams could have. She was a breakdown in the deciding set yesterday to Maria Sakkari of Greece, who I thought did very well. I just think Williams' experience told, and you could see when she went to break down that third set, she sort of went into beast mode. You could hear how much effort she was having to put in, but the ground strokes from Serena Williams from that midway through the third set, were quite incredible. The power she struck the ball with, forehand and backhands down the line, she just went for it. Served incredibly well, and the fight and determination of Serena at the age she is just unbelievable. She's one of the toughest competitors in the world in the world of sport, not just in tennis. An outstanding advocate for our sport. You can see what it means to her and how much she wants to level with Margaret Court on 24 Grand Slams, and I certainly wouldn't be writing her off. I think for other players who are obviously, you've got the likes of Jennifer Brady and Putin and Shelby Rogers, who are chasing that maiden Grand Slam title, but I don't think anyone wants to win this Grand Slam as much as Serena Williams. She's been to a couple of finals and lost them obviously to Simona Halep and Naomi Osaka in recent years, and you can just see, I think, how much she's willing to fight and how much she's willing to put on the line to get this Grand Slam title. And without the likes of Halep and Ashley Barty in the draw, it's an even bigger opportunity for Williams, and she's just going to absolutely go for it this week. And I do expect to come through this quarter final and progress to the semi-finals. I think Pironkova will put a fight up, but I just think Williams is a woman really on a mission, and she's a player I do think starts to tying the ball and start matches better as the tournament progresses, and I think her aggression and power and serving ability, winning experience and will to win will be too much. And now on to the last quarter-final, which I think will be the match of the quarter-finals on the women's side between Victoria Azarenka and Elise Mertens. So Azarenka came through a thrilling match against Muchova in the last 16. It was a 3-hour match. I think Azarenka won a very close there. I didn't actually catch the match as it was on during very early hours in the UK, but I did see the highlights. And Azarenka looks to be attacking the net very well, being very aggressive off the forehand, serving particularly well. She done brilliant tennis in Cincinnati. She looks to have carried on that winning form and confidence into her performances this week. It is her first Grand Slam quarter-final, I believe, since 2017, so it's great to see her back in form. Similar to Osaka, had a massive dip in form, struggled with a few injuries, but to see her back playing her best tennis is brilliant. Tennis isn't, women's tennis isn't quite the same without Azarenka competing at the business end for me. She has got that Grand Slam winning experience, which Elise Mertens hasn't got, so I'm sure Azarenka will be relying on all that experience and using every bit of her recent form and confidence to try and get through this one, but she's up against a super opponent in Elise Mertens, who started actually post-lockdown on clay in Prague, reaching the final there against Simona Halep. And Mertens got such an impressive win last night over Sophia Kenin. You know, Kenin was my favourite coming to this event after her hard-court win in Australian Open, and Mertens was just too powerful, moved so well, hit the backhand and forehand on the run so well, counter-punched against the ground strokes of Sophia Kenin, and even a player of Kenin's quality in defence couldn't stop the ground strokes of Mertens, and she came through that one pretty comfortably in the end. She jumped on the second serve of Sophia Kenin very well, gained control in Kenin's service games and just struck the ball beautifully all night, well timed, not many unforced errors, plenty of winners, and just looks a player ready to win. She's a Grand Slam champion in waiting, in my opinion, and her form going into the French Open, I do feel she'll be one of the massive favourites there. Now we haven't got Ashley Barty, now Simona Halep hasn't competed at a Grand Slam event since the Australian Open. I think Mertens going into that one of her favourite surfaces. With the 4 matches in, I think Mertens goes into that tournament as one of the clear favourites, and this is a real 50-50. You know, you've got Azarenka, who's got the hard court experience, won the title in Cincinnati, albeit it was a walkover in the final. She still won the event. She's played fantastic all week, and she's battle hardened. You know, she's had a couple of tough matches this week, which can almost be a positive in the fact she knows how to serve it out under pressure. She knows the importance of winning the big points. On the other hand, Mertens has sort of breezed through the draw, hasn't had a tough battle yet, but has also spent a lot less time in the court, which could prove pivotal if they went to a deciding set. I am going to edge towards Mertens. I was just so impressed by her performance last night. She came through a match against a very tough opponent, Sophia Kenin, in double quick time. Azarenka went on for 3 hours in a 3-set match. I feel today the legs of Azarenka may be a little bit heavy. I do see Mertens trying to get a fast start, nick the opening set, and it'll be a long way back for Azarenka, but it'll be a 50-50. It'll be an awesome match, and it'll be just an epic battle really, and whoever wins, it'll be fully confident they can go and win the event. So that's all for today's video. I am working for Grand Slam Tennis Online to cover this event and the French Open. I'm writing one live ball by ball commentary a day, so I will leave a link to the website in the description below, and also on Twitter, which I'm covering the event as well. And as I said at the start of the video, I have done a video previewing the men's quarterfinals and giving me predictions on those, so if you do want to check them out, the links in the description as well. So thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.